Peter Parker of Earth 6160 is the son of Richard and Mary Parker. After their deaths when he was 15, he was raised by his uncle Ben Parker and aunt May Parker. In this reality, the being known as the Maker, a divergent version of Reed Richards, used time travel to alter history and suppress the emergence of many heroes. Among his actions was the prevention of the radioactive spider bite that would have transformed Peter into Spider-Man during his youth. As a result, Peter lived an ordinary life into adulthood. He later married Mary Jane Watson, and they had 2 children, Richard and May Parker. He worked for the Daily Bugle in Manhattan under the supervision of Ben Parker and editor J. Jonah Jameson. Although his life appeared settled, Peter experienced a persistent sense that something about his past was missing. His circumstances changed when he received a package and a holographic message from Tony Stark of Earth 6160, also known in this universe as Iron Lad. The message revealed that 2 decades earlier, Peter was intended to be bitten by the radioactive spider and become a hero. Accepting this truth, Peter underwent the bite that had once been prevented, gaining the enhanced strength, agility, reflexes, wall-crawling ability, and web-shooting capacity associated with the Spider-Man identity. Following this transformation, Peter began operating as a hero, where he balances his responsibilities as a husband, father, and protector of Manhattan. James Howlett of Earth 6160 is a mutant operative originating from the Eurasian Republic, a region governed by the Rasputin family, Colossus, Magic, and Omega Red, under the authority of the Maker's Council. Early in his life, he joined a resistance organization known as the Opposition, which sought to challenge the regime's domination and exploitation of mutants and humans. Howlett was eventually captured by the secretive program Directorate X, which conducted experiments to convert him into a controlled weapon. Through these procedures, his skeleton and body were infused with adamantium, and his memories were suppressed. Reprogrammed as an agent known by the designation Winter Soldier, he became an operative serving the Maker-aligned government. Under Directorate X, Howlett was deployed to eliminate targets of the regime, including missions against the opposition. One documented operation involved his assault on an opposition base in Rasputingrad under direct orders from the Eurasian Republic. His enhanced physiology grants him a regenerative healing factor and retractable adamantium claws, making him a highly effective combatant. Within this universe, he is portrayed as a composite being formed from the remains of fallen soldiers, emphasizing the extreme methods used by the regime to weaponize mutants. Howlett's activities are chronicled in the Ultimate Wolverine series, which explores his transformation from a resistance fighter to a mind-controlled enforcer of the Maker's order. His narrative illustrates the broader theme of mutant subjugation, contrasting with alternate versions of the character who act independently of authoritarian control. T'Challa of Earth 6160 is the monarch and primary defender of Wakanda, a technologically advanced African nation possessing vast reserves of vibranium. He is the son of King T'Chaka and Queen Ramonda, and succeeds his father as ruler following T'Chaka's death. As king, T'Challa adopts the ceremonial and combat mantle of the Black Panther, symbolizing his dual role as sovereign and protector of his people. He wears the Panther habit, an advanced suit constructed with vibranium-based technology that enhances strength, speed, and durability, while integrating traditional design with modern defense systems. Early in his reign, Wakanda faces aggression from neighboring realms known as the Upper and Lower Kingdoms, led by the deities Lord Khonshu and Lord Ra, who seek to invade Wakanda and seize its vibranium resources. During this conflict, T'Challa discovers the existence of anti-vibranium, a counterpart element with inverse energetic properties. Alongside his sister Shuri and the ally Storm, he investigates an ancient temple located beneath Wakanda that holds both historical and strategic connections to the substance. During battle, after being wounded by an anti-vibranium weapon, T'Challa experiences a vision that grants him a direct psychic bond with vibranium, allowing him to manipulate the metal through ferrokinesis. T'Challa is married to Okoye, general of the Dora Milaje and co-ruler of Wakanda. Together they lead the nation through internal reform and external warfare. His narrative within Ultimate Black Panther explores the intersection of advanced technology, ancestral mysticism, and political sovereignty in a world transformed by the Maker's global interventions. T'Challa's leadership and newfound powers position him as a central figure in the balance of power among altered nations and superhuman factions reshaped by the Maker's reconfiguration of history. Reed Richards of Earth 6160 is a scientist whose life is altered by the interference of the Maker, resulting in his transformation into the figure known as Dr. Doom. Initially a gifted researcher working with Franklin Storm and his children, Susan and Johnny, Reed designs a spacecraft intended to traverse a cosmic storm. The Maker manipulates the mission's calculations, preventing exposure to the storm and causing catastrophic failure. The crash results in Johnny's death, Susan's terminal radiation illness, and Reed's subsequent imprisonment following public blame for the disaster. disaster. Reed is taken to the Maker's base, the City, located in Latveria. There, he is physically and psychologically tortured, culminating in the Maker sealing a metal mask to his face and declaring him Dr. Doom. Under confinement, Reed's mental stability deteriorates. Although deprived of superhuman abilities, he retains his exceptional intellect and employs advanced weaponry developed within the City, including energy-based armaments. During the conflict surrounding the Maker's temporal device, the Immortus engine, Reed's role becomes pivotal. After the machine is damaged in a confrontation involving Kang, Reed collaborates with Howard Stark of the North American Union to subvert the Maker's regime. He disables the city's temporal defenses, while Stark delivers an alternate Immortus engine, allowing Kang's forces to penetrate the Maker's dominion. Within Earth 6160, Reed's identity as Dr. Doom signifies both imprisonment and rebellion. Once a visionary devoted to exploration and discovery, he is repurposed as a tool of the Maker's authoritarian order, but ultimately acts to undermine it. His existence demonstrates the Maker's extensive manipulation of history, which erased the formation of the Fantastic Four and redefined Reed's destiny. Reed Richards stands as a central figure in the struggle against the Maker's reconstructed world, representing the persistence of intellect and defiance within a reality reshaped by control and loss. Kang of Earth 6160 is a temporal warlord originating from the 61st century of that universe's timeline. He emerges as a primary adversary of the Maker, whose alteration of history has imposed centuries of artificial control over global civilization. Upon discovering that the Maker's dominion extends into his own era, Kang initiates a campaign to dismantle the imposed order and restore an unmanipulated flow of time. The Maker's first encounter with Kang occurs when the Maker travels into the far future using the Immortus engine, a temporal transport device of his own creation. The meeting results in conflict, during which Kang inflicts a critical wound on the Maker and damages the Immortus engine, disrupting its capacity for stable time travel. In response, both adversaries become engaged in a prolonged temporal conflict. From his fortress in the 61st century, Kang constructs armies of genetically engineered clone soldiers and dispatches them through a reconstructed Immortus engine to attack the Maker's present-era stronghold. The Maker retaliates by eradicating the genetic ancestors of Kang's forces, effectively erasing the clone battalions from existence. Kang then redirects his strategy toward direct assaults on the Maker's infrastructure, including his central base known as the City. Kang's operations combine mastery of temporal science, advanced weaponry, and large-scale military coordination spanning centuries. His actions differ from his other known variants in that his objective is not conquest, but the liberation of history from the Maker's engineered control. His intervention destabilizes the Maker's regime, allowing the rise of resistance organizations, including the group later known as the Ultimates. Through these events, Kang becomes a pivotal force in the new Ultimate Universe, initiating the unraveling of the Maker's temporal monopoly and enabling the reemergence of autonomous civilizations across Earth 6160's altered timeline. Bruce Banner of Earth 6160 is a scientist whose research into gamma radiation results in his transformation into the Hulk. His early experiments center on the detonation of a gamma-based weapon, known as the Gamma Bomb at Bikini Atoll, which releases intense radiation and causes widespread mutation among nearby life forms. The exposure transforms Banner himself into the Hulk, a being of immense strength and endurance generated by gamma energy. Unlike many other altered events in Earth 6160's history, the Maker's manipulation of the timeline does not prevent Banner's transformation. Following his mutation, Banner establishes control over a faction known as the Children of Eternal Light. Originally a pacifist organization, it evolves into a ruling power that governs a major world territory centered in China. As leader of this domain, Banner joins the Maker's Council, the global governing body composed of rulers from the primary geopolitical blocks shaped by the Maker's intervention. As the Hulk, Banner possesses gamma-enhanced physiology that grants extraordinary physical resilience, regenerative capability, and combat power. He commands the Immortal Weapons, a group of martial warriors augmented through gamma energy who enforce his rule and maintain regional order. Banner's leadership philosophy emphasizes stability through orchestrated balance rather than genuine peace. Believing that perpetual conflict sustains unity, he and the Council manipulate wars and alliances to preserve global control under the Maker's designed system. Banner appears prominently during the Global Assembly depicted in Ultimate Invasion, where he represents the Children of Eternal Light in negotiations with other world powers. His role reflects both collaboration and rivalry within the Maker's regime, reinforcing his significance in the political and superhuman hierarchy of the new Ultimate Universe. The Ultimates of Earth 6160 are a coordinated resistance organization composed of enhanced individuals united to oppose the global dominion of the Maker. Their formation follows the restoration of limited heroic potential in a world where the Maker systematically erased the emergence of superhumans. The group operates as both a temporal and strategic countermeasure to the Maker's control of Earth 6160's history and political structure. The team is led by Iron Lad, the identity assumed by Tony Stark of this universe, who combines advanced technology with temporal engineering. Working with Reed Richards, Iron Lad utilizes the Immortus engine, a device capable of altering and stabilizing time to initiate the recovery of suppressed heroes. Through its use, the Ultimates locate and reactivate key figures, including Captain America, preserved in ice since the Second World War, and Thor, who had been imprisoned under the Maker's regime. The initial phase of the network relied on sending catalytic events into the past to stimulate the reemergence of heroic figures. Due to inconsistent results, this method was replaced by direct recruitment. The second phase focused on assembling heroes through active engagement and liberation missions. Among the earliest additions were Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne, who became Giant Man and the Wasp following intervention by Captain Britain's faction known as the Black Crusade. Operating from the orbital command center called the Triskelion, formerly Stark Tower, the Ultimates conduct missions involving the extraction of detained superhumans, sabotage of Maker-aligned infrastructure, and infiltration of the Maker's Council. The organization's central objective is to restore the natural progression of heroism across the planet by undoing the systemic suppression of origin events. Their activities take place within a geopolitical landscape divided into 7 territories, each controlled by a ruler aligned with the Maker's world structure. Through covert operations and time-based interventions, the Ultimates seek to reinstate balance and re-establish a timeline unaltered by the Maker's interference. Within this continuity, the Ultimates function as the primary force of resistance, uniting disparate heroes and technologies across temporal boundaries to challenge the dominance of the Maker and his engineered civilization. The Secret Society X-Men are a team of teenage mutants operating in the universe designated Earth 6160. Based in Kirasaki City, within the supernation of Hinokuni, they act as a covert group protecting young mutants from exploitation and harm. The team was founded by Mei Igarashi, who takes the alias Maystorm, and her classmate Nico Minoru. Together, they gathered fellow students from Iridori High School to help their friend Hisako Ichiki, a mutant targeted by a shadowy cult known as the Children of the Atom. This confrontation led to the birth of the Secret Society X-Men. Their main goal is to defend mutant youth and fight against organizations that manipulate or endanger them, particularly the Children of the Atom, a cult that twists mutant identity into a tool of control. Maystorm serves as the team's leader, wielding powers of wind and storm manipulation. Other members include Kanon Sainuchi, a psionic combatant, and Hisako Ichiki, a resilient mutant who overcomes trauma to stand with her peers. The group operates in secret, wearing kabuki masks to conceal their identities during missions and avoid surveillance or retaliation. Over time, the Secret Society X-Men expanded their ranks, exposed the abuses of the Children of the Atom, and became symbols of rebellion against the adult-run systems that dominate Hinokuni. Their actions represent youthful defiance and hope in a world shaped by control and fear. In Earth 6160, the Secret Society X-Men stand as one of the youngest organized mutant teams, champions of freedom and self-determination amid the Maker's manipulated world order.